are now tuned in to my main man Dubs. If you want that garbage, go somewhere else. If you want that music that matters, he came to the right spot.
What up, kid?
Hey Dub, talk to him.
This is not for the weak-hearted. Ever since the beat started, the flow switched up from
to lie in court. And he don't even have wild boars. Matter of fact, that wild boar in particular that he was talking about, it was extinguished. Come on, man.
To this day, that motherfucker gone. To this
Man,
day.
that's what I'm saying. This man is the cheater of the century, and he has the best hope insurance in the world because they talking about, oh man, he was coming off depression and taking, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man, like tell the truth. If he made a mistake, it's cool. You know, you can come back to the sport and man up because remember when Sugar Shane Mosley, he got busted for taking steroids. They had him do an interview on HBO talking about why he took steroids. Was you aware? And they made it a big story. But when it came to Tyson Fury, we didn't see the same thing. We saw 4 documentaries by ESPN talking about Tyson Fury's depression story and how he went to depression, but they didn't tell us how he got to depression. By taking steroids and fighting the best, which was Klitschko at the time, winning the fight, but he cheated to do so. So
this is a segment of Dante's Boxing Nation's apprentice. And again, he goes after Tyson Fury concerning drug allegations and mental illness. And I want to counterpunch what I just heard. First off, the farmer. If he paid the farmer to lie and didn't pay the farmer, and if the farmer agreed to lie, that automatically makes the farmer a witness that can't be trusted because you're already accepting money to lie. Okay, so let's just get that out there. You can't be trusted, and you can't go back if they decided, hey, we're going to pay you money, and you said, okay, I'll help you, and then they didn't help them. Okay, you can't then say, hey, I was paid to lie and never got paid, so therefore I'm trying to clear my name because I feel so bad about it. You might have felt so bad you didn't get paid. Okay, but that was 5 years ago. That has nothing to do with what just previously happened. That didn't have anything to do with 2018, 2019, or this year, 2020. And the story of Tyson Fury with his mental illness. Okay, first of all, if you're talking about a person's mental illness, you're not a doctor, so you cannot say where it came from. However, taking anabolic steroids can lead to depression. Okay, it can, or mental illness, and you having mental issues. Okay, a lot of football players go through that. They try to treat these players with cancer, drugs, and things of that nature, and then they lose their mind. They have problems after that. I've known a couple guys. It's sad of a couple stories that they've suffered those types of deterioration from the brain and health issues because of that. But to say that Tyson Fury was cheating, and to say the only reason he won is because he was a cheater, and the only reason and because he was taking steroids, he has mental issues. Now I know Blue Blood Sports TV can amend to this because he also suffers from mental health issues, and it's nothing to play with. You can't say what a person has had, and you're lucky that this is a small level. If this was really an important issue, first of all, guys like Dante's Boxing Nation's apprentice, guys like this would be in trouble. Okay, those damn videos would be snatched down. They would be removed from YouTube, and because that's defamation of character. Because you're talking about, oh, well, I know why he got mental illness. You don't know that. You can't determine that. And most importantly, you can't prove that. And if it was a big scale, that's why I know it's small. All this shit about Glovegate and eating boar meat, because it was Glovegate. This ain't even Glovegate. This is a whole different issue. concerning Tyson Fury. So it just shows you that the desperation of how these guys go and try to reach, and they try to reach for so many different things to discredit Tyson Fury. But one thing you don't want to mess with is a person's mental health. Okay? So to say or to make a claim that this man cheated, and because he cheated he with drugs, he has mental health issues, you could get yourself in trouble. So be very careful on that. However, when Sugar Shane Mosley, he is right, when Sugar Shane Mosley did take the stand, it was a totally different approach. And actually they made him testify also, to add to that. They made him testify that he was on he took steroids. A lot of fighters got busted and popped. Okay? Tyson Fury was an acute in a different situation, because maybe it was, but the thing is, if it was, you can't prove that. Was he doing cocaine? Yes. Was he drinking a lot? Yes. Was it because of steroids? You can't prove that, because all that was apparent. He was doing all these things. Okay? He might have had some steroids in him, maybe. But if you would have checked him, you would have found out, like, hey, okay, this guy has cocaine in his system, a huge amount of alcohol. His alcohol content is very high. You know, something's not right. So, but to say that, it's absolutely wrong. However, I will add this also. ESPN did that about his mental health issues. Look, that's a sensitive subject right now, talking about a person's mental health, because it is an issue. It used to just be with war patients, then with football players, then with boxers, but now it's people that have been shot at and has a certain situation, and they suffer from anxiety and all types of things like that. So it stretches through a whole different groups of people, not just athletes. Okay, so for someone to joke about mental illness and, oh, well, he's cheating and he's this, that, and the other, you're just trolling, and you could get yourself in trouble again. But I just call it good marketing, how ESPN was able to spin it in their favor. That's just good PR work, really. He might have been doing all that shit. He might have been juicing. He might have been doing drugs. He might have been drinking like a fish. He might have been doing all the above. But it just shows you how they were able to twist it. And I know what he's saying. Well, Tyson Fury, he has the protection plan because he's white privilege, this, that, and the other. But back then, the mental health thing, it was a good story, because people like to hear comeback stories. Okay? But anyway, let's move on.
He got depressed. Why not tell the whole truth? Why script the story? You know what I'm saying? So,
my man said they didn't even say, how'd you even get depressed, motherfucker? Like, for real though, like.
I'm happy you're on the show, man. It's been a long time. I've been waiting on this opportunity. I appreciate you being patient with me. You know, we had a lot of technical difficulties, but you stayed there with me. You hanged in there with me. And today we got two of America most wanted in the same place at the same damn time. How you doing, Nicholas?
He lost a step as a fighter. He didn't get better as a fighter. He lost a step. You don't do that stuff to your body and get better as a fighter. That shit does not happen. You do not do that shit as an athlete. Let's use our brains, people. As an athlete, you do not do drugs and get better as an athlete. You don't do drugs for 10 plus years and get faster and stronger as an athlete. The shit doesn't work. And then on the top of that, he's in his late 30s. That shit don't happen.
Okay, let me stop right there. The guy that's talking is a fighter. He hasn't fought in a very long time, by the name of Nicholas Ashbury. Okay, this was his guest on his show, Dante's Apprentice. And he was saying that people don't get better over time taking steroids. No, it doesn't mean you're going to be more skillful. No, it does not. So he's right about that. However, other factors do. Age, sex, diet, effort, ethnicity. Okay? A lot of factors differs in skill. You can work on certain things and techniques to make you better, but what gives you the energy to do it? Testosterone. So yes and no. But he's saying that Tyson Fury missed a step. Okay. And he's in his late 30s. Okay. Obviously, you must have been sparring a totally different fucking Tyson Fury. Because Tyson Fury is what, 31 years old? Let's check this out. Let's see how old Tyson Fury. How old is Tyson Fury?
Tyson Fury is 32 years old.
Tyson Fury is 32 years old. Where in the fuck is 32 years old registered in your late 30s? You know what I mean? Like, dude, you're obviously hating on the dude. I don't know what happened with Nicholas Ashbury and Tyson Fury when they were in camp or whatever with the gloves and stuff like that. But this does, if you notice, these guys are not even talking about that yet. They're talking about drugs. Nicholas Ashbury already discredited himself by saying, oh, he's in his late 30s. It doesn't happen. You've been abusing your body for 10 years and you don't get better. You've missed some steps. Well, it depends on when did he spar with him. What, 2 years ago? That made him 29 or 30. Right? So where does this kid get off, oh, he's in his late 30s? You know, you guys are just hating after that. Again, maybe Nicholas wasn't paid like he should. You know, and I question why the fuck you ain't had a fight in 4 years. You know, you hustling, making money from sparring guys that's getting fights. Why ain't you getting any fights? You know, and I look at this as a personal vendetta, you know, especially Nicholas Ashbury, because he's a guy that was in the camp and he was supposed to be the inside man, and, you know, but then all he's supposed to know about is the gloves, right? Because he sparred with them. And it was supposed to be some gloves or something, some kind of object was in the gloves that he claims, but then yet he was filming the gloves himself, because I covered the story. And this was like last year when it popped around, when it came in, when it got leaked out or whatever, when I saw the video. But there was no metal object in his gloves. However, we're not even talking about that. We're talking about this guy is now saying, oh, well, he's missed a step. How all of a sudden you going to lose weight and you lost 100 pounds, you had to be on steroids, things of that nature. Again, luckily these guys are peons in the game. Because had this be a bigger channel or a bigger network of these guys, if this was really legitimate, first of all, if it was legitimate, Deontay Wilder would have said something, which he has not at all. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is, if it was some type of worry or concern, these videos would be snatched the fuck down. They would have went to YouTube and snatched them all off. Like they do Bruce fucking Vane. Like they do a lot of his videos where they send an email like, hey, yo, we taking that down. You can't show this in this country. Okay? Those type of things happen when you're knocking on someone's door and it looks like you're onto something. That's exactly what happens. But let me see if there's anything else that these guys are talking about remotely interesting.
And gain 150 pounds, then lose it in like a couple months.
Oh man, that's not even. Yeah.
The man had to take something to get all that weight off.
Yeah, I mean, like, from what I know, he definitely before every camp he gains hella weight and has to take that stuff off, like Ricky Hatton. I don't know what's up with the pubs out there and stuff like that, where they can't stop drinking or whatnot, or doing drugs and doing like ecstasy and shit like that. But like,
I just want to add on to that because you talked about Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders actually got busted for steroids around the same time Tyson Fury lost all that weight. For the people that's not informed, Billy Joe Saunders was supposed to fight Andre, and out of nowhere he get busted for steroids that supposedly leave your system in 24 hours. So
okay. A lot of these speculations, accusations, as far as Tyson Fury, like I mentioned, losing weight. Again, that's something you can't prove, but you can tell this is almost like a smear campaign. Like these dudes are running for the other guy for president, which in fact they are, because it's like some type of popularity contest when it comes to fighters and who your fans are. If you're a fan of somebody, you got to shit on the other fighter that they're fighting. Okay. Now, Nicholas Ashbury, again, he's chiming in on, oh, well, I know that this happened, and for a fact he gains a lot of weight in between. You know, Tyson Fury is a big dude. Okay, he was a big obese dude. You know, for him to say he done that, okay, well, you can speculate, but again, you can't prove that. You know, but he did lose a lot of weight. He was over 400 pounds, you know, and he had to start somewhere. So it did take the effort for him losing the weight, you know. But that wouldn't have been an antibiotic steroid. It probably would have been something like a banned substance that cut weight, like that cut water retention and stuff like that, you know. So weight cutters and things of that nature that makes him lose more weight quicker. That could have been a possibility, but again, there's only a possibility. Now, as far as Billy Joe Saunders, you want to talk about Billy Joe? he was using a nasal spray that while you were in training, it's illegal. Okay, he got it from UK. It was some type of nasal thing. They have a different climate over there than here. Okay, so when he was going to fight Andre, they detected it in his system, and what was in the spray was a chemical that was also on the banned substance list. So that explains that it really wasn't a banned substance because it was a nasal situation. So that really doesn't qualify. But to associate Tyson Fury with Billy Joe and to say, oh, all these guys in the UK juice, that's exactly what I'm getting from this. Like, again, I feel these guys should really slow their roll because they might. Because I mean, I know they're capping, they're talking, they're chirping, they're doing whatever. They're trying to build this case against Tyson Fury and make him this, that, and the other. He's just this terrible dude or whatever. He ain't perfect, I can tell you that shit. But what they're saying about him, attacking his mental illness, saying that he, took drugs or whatever 5 years ago, and linking other people that also got popped with other things of that nature, saying that other fighters, Billy Joe and Ricky Hatton and all those, it's almost like a UK attack or a British attack on UK fighters. And again, if these guys gave half a shit, they would go after guys like that. Not saying I want to or anything like that, but I know that it's certain things that you can get popped for on YouTube for saying the same shit. Yeah, it's freedom of speech and all, but a lot of times if it's considered like a hate or slur or something like that, especially things like this that these guys can't prove, they're just talking shit. Nicholas Ashbury should focus on his fucking career instead of coming on a channel to blast the guy that he used to spar with. Again, I don't know what the relationship was or whatnot, but I think coming from a guy that hasn't fought in a long time, he might have been in a situation where he has nothing to lose, or he felt that he got messed over on some money, or it could have been some form of extortion that went bad. I don't know. But I know one thing, hearing what he had to say, he was off and I had to counterpunch him. Tyson Fury is not in his late 30s. Tyson Fury, for as far as you know, wasn't juicing for 10 years. But again, this is what we have in front of us. So this is what we counterpunch. You guys tell me what you think about this particular video. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunching. Peace.